So, after last week,
down the straight with MD Hop all over the gearbox of lead pencil as we go into Curva Grande for the first time. It looks like MD Hop is going to slip down the inside of Polites Pango and looking to challenge lead pencil as we come up to the De La Roggia chicane. But lead pencil, oh, there's contact! There's big contact between MD Hop and lead pencil as it looked like what's his name? MD Hop got out of control over the sausage curb, and there's a big collision. It looks like a few cars were taken out in the process as well. 2-second penalty for Parquet in P7 as well. As we look on the replay and go on board with Parquet now, so we've got a train of cars in front. Oh, it's Parquet. Oh, Parquet did really well initially to avoid the car in front, but then there was contact with whoever was third position. I didn't quite catch the name there.
your boy got a penalty. Qualifying ban. There goes everybody out to the track. I gotta stay in here locked up. So that's what we did for 15 minutes. NRL Round 3. This is the elimination round, baby. All the marbles are on the line. We are sitting in P15 overall. Not only did we get a qualifying ban, but we also lost a championship point, which is crucial in a grid as tight as this one. Every point counts. So we need big points today if we want to have a chance at the championship. And it's going to be an uphill battle, again, starting from the back. Key observations from the grid. MD Hop, P Rousel right in front of me running 22 sixes. Lead really threw a screw in the tuna throwing that 19 down. I hadn't seen a 19 all week. I ain't even see Wid throw a 19 up. And I did some lobbies with Wid, so I didn't know a 19 was possible. I'm just putting that out there, you know. I'm just going off what I seen. Don't shoot the messenger, you know. Don't like just don't take the message. But I'm messy, yeah. Yeah, MD Hop, P Rousel right in front of me, led on pole. The $1 million man of the day, though, for me is Arrow, actually. McNaughty was able to, you know, do some thermodynamics and differential equations and et cetera, to somehow figure out all of the auto clinch scenarios. And mine was I needed to beat Arrow by 6 points. So not only did I need to place pretty high up the grid, if I wanted to automatically, you know, stamp my ticket, I also had to place further up the grid than Arrow by a significant amount. There's a lot riding on this one. Definitely needing to let the race come to me, honestly. The plan going in was to run medium tires, and stay flexible. I saw the rain come at, like, sometimes I was able to go straight through no rain. I usually see rain though like lap 17 through 19. So I was preparing for either to hop on the intermediates or hop on the softs. We're going to do a one stopper. But as I said last week, we make plans, God laughs. So here we go. It's race time, all or nothing. Shout out to Hinking's Tavern and Little JCPA. Let's make y'all look good. Getting a strong start off here on the mediums. Again, I'm practicing my starts, but wanted to definitely make sure not to be too aggressive going into T1 this week. There's lots of dirty air, hot downforce cars are just, you know, we're all cruising for a bruising, right? First Bruisee spawned there, spinning off to the right. And that's one position done. Now we settle in, try to let the race come to us. Shout out to Razzle there for a little bump draft. And we're just gonna try to handle this hairpin like gentlemen. Getting up right up on the edge of Pip there, having to make sure I stay outside as much as I can. I get a audio cue that my boy P. Razzle is going to be leaving us. Victim number 2 of the downforce. May the force be with you always. Old man Pip almost getting sucked into the shoutout realm there as well. Going disco dancing. The ever famous quadruple right-hander. Throttle control so important through there. This is a great track if you're bad at throttle control, I feel like, to practice. Just because there's only a couple of heavy braking zones like this one here. But then here we go again. 75% throttle, coming off of it, playing with it. Trying to be as patient as I possibly can. And there we go. I was holding my breath a bit here because I hadn't finished a clean lap in so long, you know, in race. So getting a lap 1 under our belt. Spawn and P. Razzle diving into the pits. I'm assuming to fix that damage. More power to them. I would have probably done the same, honestly. I should have did the same last week thinking about it. Coming through the chicane there. I see a lot of, I see Pip and, you know, Hop. A lot of movement going on up there. And this just goes to show you, being patient is what pays off. Everything can just change in one turn. I got through the hairpin there and just picked up so much time, and I'm right back in the slipstream where I want to be. When you're racing from the back, really the mindset that I at least try to have is you just want to be ready to capitalize on people's mistakes when they make them. That's all you can really do. You don't want to lose any time to the leaders. We're 9 seconds off the leaders at this point, 2 laps in, which is honestly not too bad, if I do say so myself. And here we go again. Throttle control kicking on pretty heavy there. I use TCS3, yes, sue me. I know people are going to probably tell me about how I need to turn all those off. Turn yourself off. 5th gear, trying to keep the speed, braking ever so slightly. 100 board coming through here. The dirty air really playing a factor. You can see everybody all everywhere. Also the line coming out of that chicane as Pip almost loses the back end again there. The hairpin is just really fun to go through, I can't lie. I really like that hairpin. And this little right left as well is just so fun. A little bit of brake, a lot of gas, letting the car roll. These hot downforce cars, they really just stick to the track. It was a joy to drive, it really was. You notice the sparks flying up. These cars do bottom out. These cars do bottom out. And here we are again. Lap 3, still in P11 at this point. Things don't change until this moment here on lap 4. Everything's looking pretty smooth. I'm thinking everybody's settling in, going into this left-right again. The high class will call it a chicane. And it's just through here, Horn and MD Hop having a bit of a moment. Sparks fly, a little bit of net code there, and I'm just able to get that exit on Pip again. Just being in the position to take advantage when things happen is really all you can do. Coming down the exit here again, a little bit of argy-bargy through there, this is really the straight you don't want to do it. You don't want to have to do that. But again, now I'm able to, because of that, I hang 7/10 on them and I have clean air in front of me. And clean air is just oh so crucial. Again, in hot downforce cars like these. All that nasty, dirty, gunky H2O and exhaust, you don't want all that flowing through your car. Our car can breathe real nice H2O. You know, now we're on breath. There's a saying that to breathe through your mouth is to drink out of a river, but breathing through your nose is like drinking purified water. So breathe through your nose, people practice nose breathing. And, you know, the benefits. I know they got, I've seen memes of like, they got to do the morning routine and tape over his mouth and all that. I'm not trying to come at you on that type of thing, right? I read a book. I don't know if that's any better than somebody making a video, but just trust me, just nose breathing, I need to practice it myself actually. So the book said you want to do 5 seconds in and 5 seconds out. So it's really a lot more, you know, like that's what I'm saying. It's more than just like putting some tape over your mouth. Even though the dude did put tape over his mouth in one of his experiments, but I'm getting off track. Lap 6 here behind Johnny Boy. We've settled into a nice little groove. At this point, I've raised that gap up to 1.2 seconds now, so there's always a good feeling when you're racing when you only need your eyes ahead. It was this lap as well where I started, you know, all three of us, or both of us at least, Johnny Boy and I, experienced that little bit of snap oversteer there. I noticed these cars on the mediums just got a little wonky sometimes. If the grip to weight ratio was just a little bit off. On top of this next code, you see Johnny look like he shaking and jiggling, yo. Shout out to my Wire fans. It's just another key to make sure I'm extra careful going into these corners. Like even right there, that's honestly too close. I should have probably broken a little bit earlier, but you know, thanks to the good Lord above, we had no incident. But even look at that though, now Pip, that brings Pip right back into the fray. 3 tenths behind me now. And I kind of sell this corner here. I slow down a lot. Thankfully, Pip realized and didn't, you know, send me into the wall. But just like that, there's a race back on our hands. And now, instead of my eyes being in front, they're back behind me. There's a second in front of me now. Pip is right on my tail, firmly in my slipstream. I don't go defensive here. I feel like everybody has been, you know, pretty gentleman and secure about it, and there's Horner Plenty right there. Tires in the grass, I smell blood. I know something has to happen. I know Johnny smells blood, so again, I'm just gonna try to be here to capitalize whenever it goes down. I get the right, left, pretty right, firmly in Johnny's slipstream now. I want to get a good exit coming out of the final corner here, hitting the apex there, and here we go. This is setting up nicely. I have upped the gap on Pip, 6 tenths now, so that's good. Going a little bit wide here to make sure I get a good exit. Traction control doesn't turn on as much. You saw there was less red in the, you know, in the pedal, so getting some good speed, and here we go. About 25% brakes there because I'm in slipstream. Again, just very clumsy through there on my part. Luckily, we are again all alive, lap 8 now. There was a bit of a slipstream train forming, which is good on a track like this, I can't lie. But this moment right here, Horner Plenty just going a bit deep, a bit of contact with Johnny Boy, and again, not getting too greedy. If you get greedy, you bite your tongue. Remember that, folks. But I am, again, just in position. Real calm, cool, collected. Horns lost a lot of time there. Johnny Boy's pulling a bit of a gap here. And here we go. Focusing on this exit. Johnny goes a bit wide. Or Horn, excuse me. And there I am again. P8. Pip is hot on my tail. 2 tenths behind. Didn't need to defend there. I feel like we had a pretty good rapport. And now the goal is to get into Johnny's slipstream. We're a second ahead. Again, the clean air is so crucial. We're the head of the centipede. For those of you that saw the centipede, I'm sure you would agree that it is always better to be the head. Oh man, wow. I was very strong to that chicane. Yeah, I said it, whatever. I was very strong through there, 6 tenths. I got a second up on Pip, I think, and oh, Johnny Boy goes a bit wide. And here I go again. Same lunch, different bunch. Just coming through the right, left here. Lost a lot of speed through there trying to avoid, but it's all good. bottoming out there. I'm just hawking them down, walking them down, walking them down. You don't have to throw your haymaker all the time. You can just jab them out. Jab, jab, jab. It's like, all right, he got away with this one, but I'm still on him. You're gonna have to do it perfect next time. You're gonna have to do it perfect next time. This is a nice little gap here, 7/10. It's not too close, but he's also not going to be able to easily get away from you. See, I'm easily to keep minimum speed 140 through there. The good people are able to probably do like, 150s. I think I've seen Weird do like a 180. Attacking that chicane, they're really cutting the track. I really like that line. I usually don't like that line here, but I really like that line. And here we go again, coming into the hairpin, getting the car rotated nice and smooth on the power on the way out. And I'm right back in the slip. 4/10 through here. He's gonna have to be perfect. A little heavy on the brakes there. Net code still, he's shaking and jiggling. A little bit wide through there. And here I go, I'm setting up the exit now for the back straight again. Hit that apex, missed this one. Hit, he goes a bit wide, I hit, and here we go. 5/10 now. Again, just walking them down. The medium's feeling real good still. I feel like my tire management here was very well. Shout out to Ja. Tire management. Not Ja, excuse me, Jay. Jay Senior. Just don't turn the wheel so much, man. Just don't turn the wheel too much. Messing this one up, turning the wheel too much. Minimum speed 130. This is when I started to think that the mediums maybe... Actually, no, I wasn't. I just sold because I knew I could, do a lot better. But look at those times. People ask, when you're in those icebreaker meetings, like, what superpower do you want? I want the consistency of the sun. That's what the best race drivers have. Just that metronomic ticking off lap after lap. And I did a pretty good job of it. I'm at 23s, 124 because of that little moment, but high 22s, low 23s, not as dealing with as much clean air at this moment in the race, still trying to manage that, but this consistency, look what it does to you. You kind of black out for a little bit, you look up, and there's a 2-second gap behind you. So now we're again, while the tail of this centipede, the tail of this car centipede, yes, I will, I've relinquished that fact. Eyes are ahead, our eyes are ahead. We're also starting to take note of the haziness, because the whole key of this race is getting the tire call right. If you don't get the tire call right, you don't have a chance, right? The tire call is also crucial. So while this consistency and everything is good, everything's going to plan perfectly as Johnny gets it a bit clumsy through there. And here we go, I smell blood. 3/10 at this point, firmly in the slipstream. It's getting dark, taking that into account. He just goes a bit wide there, a bit heavy on the brakes. I stay inside, give room on the outside, and I'm going to fight for this. Giving them room on the apex. Nice respect shown there, even with the net code. We can trust each other. Beautiful racing through there. I go a bit wide, and apex is mine. Clear air. I felt like it was worth it to fight for that there. I did feel like I had the pace, to be honest. And these cars, again, and just clean air is just... head of the centipede, right? So now, you see the sparks up there, real bright. That's how you know it's getting dark, and the headlights coming on, and it getting dark. That can also, be a sign of it getting dark. Santa Miguel is next on the list for P7, lap 13 at this point, and we're 6 seconds adrift. 17 seconds, 18 seconds off the lead at this point. So podium may be gone, but we're not even really necessarily looking at podium. We're looking at Arrow, who's currently in P5. Arrows are golden goose, and a golden egg has fallen into our lap somehow. he ends up in P6.
Strategy, perhaps. I think that is costing him time as we look on board of the replay with P3 and P4, Blights Pango and
Arrow.
Was it Arrow, wasn't it? Yeah, sorry. Oh, contact with Bandit though. It looks like Bandit shoveled Arrow wide, and Arrow was the one to lose out there. Lucky he didn't pick up damage there, but he certainly lost the position and damage limitations. But yeah, PHG Arrow down into P5 with Santa Miguel all over the back of him as the darkness ascends on us now, and this is where it brings a whole different race dynamic to us now, as it looks like Santa Miguel is going to slingshot his way past PHG Arrow to move up into P5. So Arrow losing 2 positions in 1 lap.
Which, one, means there had to be a lot of fighting going on, because I also noticed that the gap is coming down. It's now at 4 seconds. But 2, again, that's the, you know, that's the guy. That's my guy, right? That's the, you know, if we was in the Bourne Ultimatum, right, and I was born, they would have handed me a picture of Arrow. And now I can see his tail lights. I saw him just ever so slightly in the distance. You can see him just kind of flashing off right there. And again, trying to keep my cool here, stay consistent. We're kind of running a race by ourselves now. We've cut down the gap to the lead by a couple of seconds at 16 at this point. 3 seconds ahead, 1 second behind. And Slick hits the pits. So Slick's betting. Well, we don't know what he's betting yet. We got to see what he's going into the pits for. But also, Arrow dives into the pits, and he was on softs. Slick hops on the softs, so he's thinking no rain, as was I at this point. As was I. And the plan was, okay, now the be flexible part is kicking in though. There's 8 laps left. I haven't done my pit stop yet, but I also haven't lost a lot of time. Look over at laps 10 through 14, all 23s. And I even snuck a 22 in right before that little zone. So we have a couple people betting no rain. Again, like I said, I was thinking rain lap like that 15 through 17 range for sure. So now I'm thinking, since I'm also betting no rain, all right, yeah, no, I'm still betting no rain. When can I pit for these softs? Because I checked the weather radar there. I don't see any blue. I would have seen blue if I was, you know, that I tried to practice recognizing when rain was coming, and you could only really see on the map when it was blue, but it was obviously clear when it was coming. So gave that a little check, didn't see anything. So now I know, let's just keep pushing. Lap behind growing, lap ahead growing as well a bit, but the lap behind is what's important at this point because I want a comfortable pit stop. Again, all these gaps don't matter as much if you get the tire call wrong. So there's a lot riding on, you know, this next pit stop. By the time we get to the end of lap 16 here, we got another gambler, Pango, going into the pits. He was on mediums. That'll put me into P5. So at this point, I'm feeling pretty good. I don't know where I am, you know, in terms of like actual lead and all that, but I know that I'm moving forward, right? I haven't lost too much time. I should be putting myself in a pretty good position here. And again, Arrow's down in P8, so I do have that little comfortability factor at play, where if things just end how they are now, you know, we'll be giving ourselves a chance. Santa Miguel is next on the list here, though. Lap 17, I'm sure, I'm almost sure at this point it's not raining. It's too late. Lap 17 is at the far end, but Miguel goes a bit wide through there. So now, again, I'm smelling blood. I see Lead pit. He's on some sauce. I think Lead was on the 2-stopper. Get a little bit of oversteer through there. And Santa Miguel goes in. I decide to cover it off, follow him in. And that was a good medium stint. Got to make sure I don't pull a Maggiore and underfuel the car. Getting the new boots on, softs, coming out the pits there in P6. So this is when I knew, okay, I had good pace and I'm in a good true track position. There's still the position between me and Aero. I still see Santa Miguel on my headlights. It's a 1 second gap on me right now, so if we can get in his slipstream, try to carry that on through, we'll be putting ourselves in, you know, a pretty good position to try to make the dance. Here at the end of lap 18, Bandit decides to dive into the pits. So that's another position for me. I thought that was a bit late to dive into the pits, but I'll take that position any day of the week. So now we're in P5. We're in P5, and I don't see Aero even on the leaderboard at this point. Which, again, you know, I need as much distance between me and Aero as possible if I'm gonna safely make this thing. Coming through the quadruple right-hander. I guess God was just smiling down on me this day. Aero bottoms out, pop, pop, wall. And just like that, I'm in P4. Again, the plan stayed the same, right? Still just be in position to take advantage if something happens. It's so easy to understeer coming through that last apex. I've done it so many times in practice. And you know, the car's light, you bottom out, you're just a passenger. And that's what happened to Santa Miguel, sadly, there. But he's still able to recover. He's still in P7, so not the end of the world. But now I'm in P4. There's only 17 seconds between me and the podium. 22 seconds off the leader at this point. I just ran a 21.9. And look at that. Kataklysmos, the Great Flood. I felt like I was driving through that for about half a second there. And you look at that weather radar. Didn't I say it'll be obvious? It is a system coming through, so I got to get my James Spann on. Yellow means lot of rain. Light blue is not a lot of rain. Down in the bottom left is how you know when you need rain tires, if it goes over that first line. All three leaders pit. They're on the soft tires. I think this caught us all off guard. And looking at this system, this rain was going to be nasty. I didn't want to test it. I know Jay probably would have stayed out, but I was like, at this point, don't get greedy, don't bite your tongue. All three leaders pitted. The safe thing to do right now is just hop on the intermediates. It's lap 20 at this point. I did not see rain at lap 20 in any of my, you know, practices or simulations, but now we in it. Red means a lot of rain. If it gets too wet, then there's a chance I made the wrong tire call, because I would need, you guessed it, the wet tires, and the intermediates wouldn't be enough. But I was just hoping that it wouldn't get too nuts over 2 laps time and that I could manage. I did a lot of practice in the wet. I did actually like just a full wet race, because, and look at that, the sound of the rain, oh my goodness. Isn't that crazy? How loud that is? It feels like, look at this. This is nature sounds. Is this what it sounds like when it rains in Japan or Tokyo, or where do they make this game at? Where's Polyphony based in? Let me, Japanese, Tokyo Drift. I hope I don't get in trouble for that. But the practice in the rain was very beneficial because of the high downforce of these cars. Bandit's still on the mediums at this point. You can see there he's pitting for that. I don't think he could take anymore. But the braking zones were honestly kind of the same. The high downforce kept the car pretty planted. So if you're on the right tires, this car wasn't, you know, too bad, honestly, to drive in the rain for me. But now it's just a matter of keeping it out the wall, taking it nice and slow through the apex there, nice and easy on the throttle. Gap is 16 seconds. Led, interestingly enough, got a 3-second penalty I found out after the fact. But he was in the lead at this point, so I don't know if this necessarily affected the championship, but I mean, we're all race car drivers at the end of the day, right? We just we just want to win for winning's sake. So, it's at this point here where you see that weather gauge is getting really close to that third line. And again, if it gets to that third line, then I've made a wrong tire call. And this is the heaviest I've seen it rain. It's getting really close to that line. And at this point, I'm getting really scared that, oh, I'm gonna have to try to luck this thing home. Trying to stay off the dry line as much as I can. You notice me probably going a little bit wider, trying to pick up some of those marbles. The grip in the rain is not on the dry line. That dry line really gets slicked out. So you see I take the dry line here through the chicane and just try to be really careful. At this point, I think I'm cooked. You see that dark blue there? That means it is full wet territory. Look at that. Sliding, sliding, sliding. Traction control, save me. You know? That's what kind of time we were on at this point. There's 9 seconds behind me. I know if I'm struggling like this, everybody else has to be at least struggling a little bit too. So this is just trying to get to the end here. If we can bring home this P4, that'll be mega for the championship, our chances of getting in the championship. Led down in P3 at this point, finishing third place on the podium. Schlick P1, Polias P2. A little bit of drama through that last hairpin for me, but luckily I'm able to bring it home. Arc Data Studios Racing, shout out to the company that pays me. Last place to P4. I'm not like the Avatar. When I need me most, I don't know what I'm saying, man. Oh, man. I was feeling really good after this one, though. I was feeling really good after this one, definitely. Aero P6. 4th place, 12 points. 6th place, 8 points. That's 4 points. I needed 6 points to clinch, so I'm not out the woods yet. But that 12 points is enough for me to provisionally 23 points. And I'm in the green. Green means you're dancing. I made the dance because of this. Big shout out to everybody involved in the NRL. I hope y'all can come and, you know, join us and watch the championship round. We love to have y'all keep on hanging out and chilling with us. This was a really fun season. But the interesting thing about the point standings is this is actually the grid order for the championship. So I will be starting behind Arrow, behind the Golden Goose Man, the Golden Egg Man himself. In it's looking like P13 right now. Looking like P13 right now. I'll be sitting in on the grid, so we'll definitely need to, you know, try to go for gold. Try to go for gold. It's championship Saturday, y'all. It's crown time. It's crown time. I'll be live streaming it per usual. You know how I get down. Next week's race, we are in the F1 cars. I don't know y'all know how I feel about the manufacturer's name and stuff. We're in the F1 cars around Sardegna Road Track A Reverse. It's a square. It's an endurance race. 60 minutes on the clock. On your mark, get set, go. So it's going to take a lot of mental fortitude, a lot of, you know, that mental endurance, that driving seat endurance. It's a bit of a curveball. Not a bit of a curveball. I mean, we had an endurance race last year. So it's definitely a curveball for me because I don't do endurance races like that. I'm like, you know, I hop on, I may do 2 or 3 daily races and, you know, hop off. So sitting in the seat for an hour is definitely a different muscle I only get to flex in this beautiful NRL we all get to appreciate and participate in. Shout out to McNaughty putting it on for us, making us feel like real race car drivers. Shout out to you if you still listen to the video at this point. And yeah, I think that's it.